And welcome back to another episode of Heart of the Cast. Big episode this week. We've got the EUWCQ second place with us, Roselle, all the way from Norway. That's crazy, by the way. We're going to talk about that in a second. Other countries, I know. And Josh, of course, is here. Hi, Josh.
Hello.
Can you, first of all, tell us about yourself, I guess, and how you got into Yu-Gi-Oh? Because I need to understand what the Norwegian pipeline is to Yu-Gi-Oh TCG. I couldn't name another Norwegian player other than you.
That's very understandable because there isn't one to name. The Norwegian scene is extremely small.
Do you have a local?
We have 3 locals in the country, but they all average like 12 players per week, so they're really, really small.
Is it Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
Oh,
What else is it gonna be?
other TCGs, obviously. That's fine. You made it sound like there was like literally 2 of you meeting up in a library. Like that's pretty okay.
We have like TCG stores and stuff, but
Yeah, okay.
like specifically is really small in this country. We do have other TCGs. I know people that play like Magic and Flash and stuff.
What's the biggest TCG? Is it Magic?
I think it's Magic, though I don't have a lot of friends that play Magic. I know the Flash and One Piece scenes are pretty big though.
Flash. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Cool. All right. So we're gonna dive into, I suppose, first and foremost, European Championship, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about Justice Hunters, since that is the new set with a big shakeup of the format, with potentially a ban list at the end of the month. So tell us a little bit about your preparation for the WCQ. How was the thought process for you when you went into this? What decks did you look at, and what was your almost deck, and how did you land it where you did?
I mean, I think my prep was pretty similar to Josh's, to be honest. I practiced for Nats season, which was a very similar format, just like no duad. And the deck I ended up playing for Nats was Twin Bastille Fiendsmith. That is how much I hated Mr. RYZEAL and Malice.
Well, based.
Like, I just did not enjoy the decks at all. So the really only deck I was looking at was Vanquish. Like, I tried all the decks, but Vanquish felt fine. It felt like it had a really solid Mitsu matchup if my opponent was not like really good at using Futsu, and I felt like it had an even Malice matchup. And then it was the only deck I found any joy in playing. So therefore, yes.
Yeah, I think
No, I resonate with that.
this was like not even Josh normally hides his deck, or doesn't express it too much, but you were not even trying to pretend this time around, Josh.
There's no point in hiding. Like there's a level where I will play just the best deck, but like if any of these types of decks are like close to the best, then I will play it, and people know that anyways.
Yeah,
It's like if like a runic combo variant was like among the best 5 decks in the format, I'm not gonna hide what I'm playing.
even, I mean, same. Runic best deck, let's go. You suck through Runic and Void Surfer, have fun.
Yeah, I stayed home to give everyone a chance personally. I didn't even get my invite, actually. So
we had 0 OTS championships, 0 regionals this season. So
wait, how did you get yours?
I topped Voices Birmingham.
Oh, you topped a YC, Giga Chats, okay. Getting your invite through a YCS top is actually just such a flex.
I mean, when you live in Norway, it's either that or like fly to Germany for like a regional or something.
Yeah, I think maybe Scandinavians kind of all go to like Swedish Nats, maybe, because that's like the only country. Is that right?
Danish Nats.
Oh, you play
Sweden,
Danish?
Denmark.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
All right, fair enough. So yeah, for this WCQ, it sounds like you were pretty sold on VS. You want to talk a little bit more about maybe your specific list, and if there was any tech cards or any sort of like changes or things that you wanted to include? Other than that, I think the lists were kind of set in stone, but you can tell us a little bit about your personal take on the build.
Yeah, I mean, the VS cards are very locked. Like, the only things you really have to choose with it is if you want to play 2 or 3 Borger, 2 or 3 Jiaolong, or if you want to play the second spell. I found that I did not want to play the third Borger because the way I was losing most games was bricking, and Borger and Caesar are the brickiest engine cards by far. And I also like this. I basically never considered the second spell. I found that continue, like, the logic was to make progress into Detonator, but it just didn't make progress into Detonator. Like, they pop them out of and then it doesn't do anything anyways. Like, you had to deal with the Detonator even if you search continue, and then I want to search the field spell instead. I did consider the second field spell a little bit because it's good like turn 3 against Mitsu and the Mirror, but I found that if I play well, I don't need it. Like, you can just outgrind them anyways. And then I played 3 Jiaolong because for me, the way you really win games with VS is when you have Jiaolong on field with 2 fires in hand, like there's no card that beats you anymore. They can't like thrust for talents, look at your hand, take your piece away. They can't like they can't like banish your Caesar because you always have access to Surge Borger. Like it's really hard to get rid of anything, and like that's the way you usually beat VS. Like remove one of their pieces so their cards don't work.
Mhm. I mean, it makes a lot of sense in your list too, because I'm just looking at it right now, and you played the Rescue Aces, which is based. First of all, I would have loved to play those, but
But those cards,
I got convinced by Dinka to take them out because he said they suck, and he kept bullying me for playing them.
I honestly, I both agree with like you want to play them, and I agree with Ninka because the Rescuers
Yeah.
cards suck ass. I,
They
the best,
do.
the best thing I did with them was my top 8 backup feature. I normal summon the Impulse to threaten my opponent's Caesar. That's the best thing I did with them. Like,
I mean, there's some merit to them just being the best fire that you have access to next to the ones you already play. But it's just like the thing that really got me off of them is the fact that like even like you can't really draw any meaningful hand traps with them besides Holy Sue, because the best non-engine you have other than Holy Sue is like Charmies, and they all don't work after Fire Attacker. So it's like, what are you really trying to draw going second? Like it's either it completes your Holy Sue setup or it does nothing. So that was the weird part for me.
I had a lot of like same reasons, but as I said earlier, I really liked Jiaolong.
Yeah.
So I wanted more fires, and
Yeah.
the options were basically Rescuers package, Kurikara, or Dogoran, and I found that the other two sucked way too hard. Like Dogoran, I never even tried, but like I tried
Yeah.
Kurikara, and all the situations where Kurikara was asked, Dogoran was asked too.
Yeah,
So
I think Dogeron is fine. We considered Dogeron for a long time. We had it in some lists. The fact that you can search it off Hita and then keep bouncing with Madlove, it's neat. Especially after a Charmy like the Baguska Pass, Detonator Pass kind of boards. The Dogeron is nice, but then you'd have to draw the one of, so it's like eh.
it's like you were never
But I think it's fine.
I wanted more than just one additional fire. Like I didn't need the
Yeah.
4. I wanted 2 or 3, like
Yeah,
at least.
there's literally nothing. It's either like you play like one or two Dogorons or you play like 4 Rescue Aces. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. There's nothing in between. And well, there was good cards. I think I resolved uh, the impulse like twice, 3 times or something.
Mm.
But my impression is that either I was revealing them for Jiaolong or they were drawing Charmies.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, which is either really good or really bad. So yeah.
but they were still good though because
Yeah.
having them for Jiaolong was nice. So in retrospect, I'm happy I played them.
Mhm.
But they could have been. I guess I could have tried to dig the pool deeper, but I'm very happy I had the fires at least, even though the rescues cards themselves weren't that good.
I think they're fine, yeah. I mean, I looked through every single fire monster in advance, and I don't think there was anything better.
Yeah, I remember scrolling. I don't think I read every card though. I just was like, if I saw something I remembered from like 2 years ago, then I would read it. Kind
Yeah. No, we read them all. There's nothing.
of. Well,
Yeah.
good to know I didn't.
I mean, I personally I don't know too much about Vanquish Soul, but I guess I'm really curious to ask like this paradox with like the Charmies, where they are
Mhm.
not attributes for your deck, but you,
Mhm.
I think both of you ran like the full 6 in the main.
Well, I ran 8.
Josh played 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, how do you, I guess, explain that? They're just so
Basically,
mandatory going second?
coming out of NAWCQ, the most represented deck was Malice. But from what I'd seen from regionals and stuff, and that's here, and also because we didn't have the like rogue decks from the battle set, I was
Mhm.
expecting Mitsu and Mitsu RYZEAL to be the most popular decks, and mainly Mitsu RYZEAL. And that deck has 9 cards that were basically work against it. Like, of course, Bystials and Ash and stuff are okay, but it's Fua, Perulia, Droll, and I despise Droll, both as a card and in VS, especially in VS because it conflicts with Holy Sue and it conflicts with Charmies and it conflicts with Rescues cards. So I had basically 6 non-attribute non-engine spots, and it made a lot more sense to play Perulia and Fuba because they don't conflict with Holy Sue and Rescue Ace, and they're also better into Malice. At least like Perulia is better than Droll into Malice,
Mhm. Yep.
and therefore it was like they're still like the while Ashable Perulia is still really good against Ryzeal Mitsu. And also,
Yep.
like, it makes a lot more sense with the engine. And I believe you also said this in your profile, Josh, but VS is, like, kind of clunky, kind of bricky. And
Yeah.
if you're bricking, you would way rather brick with a Charmy in hand than with anything else.
Yeah. No, this deck is like super hard to push into Charmies against because you have so many things you can draw that just messes your opponent up. Like
I mean, it's
if
really
they give you if sometimes you're literally all you're missing is like one attribute for Holy Sue or something. So like giving you one draw off a Charmy can sometimes be already basically the end of the game.
Yeah,
And
it's very.
so even the game I lost in top 32 where I went first and I just passed, like I think my hand was actually fine for the matchup because I had like it was like Fuva and Meowls against Fiendsmith Mitsu. And I'm like, okay, this is a fine hand. I had Holy Sue already, so I'm like, if I just draw one or two cards of these Charmies, I'm probably fine. And then they just had Ash called by Ant combo. But
You lost
like these are
to
the
John.
types of hands where going first, it's not that bad to draw Charmies. Charmies in this deck, I mean, going second, the not matching attribute doesn't matter because they're basically like upstarts with bonus, right? You get like one draw off them, it's already fine. And then if they make your opponent's board weaker, then it's even better. Um, and then they're at their worst when you have these. Sometimes there's awkward hands where you draw like one or two Charmies going first, but then like your hand is kind of playable where like let's say it's like a mad love and two charmies and like two random cards and you're like, okay, should I play now and disable these charmies because mad love is like the weakest starter? Like if I normal summon mad love at the field spell and they droll me, I'm like, okay, well now I have nothing. So those are like the only awkward hands, but when you're going second, it's like genuinely the best knowledge. And I also felt like this deck was no longer like a hand trap deck. I felt like because back in the day, people played this deck very much like I'm just gonna play all the hand traps that have the right attributes and then just grind with that. This deck technically has enough interruptions on its own, and it even has its own hand trap in Holy Sue for going second. So it's not supposed. I don't think it's supposed to play like infinite crows, bell, like too many Bistils and stuff. Because in this format, they're not great non-engine. Like no other deck considers playing like crows and bells and stuff like that because they simply don't do enough. Like they're not bad, but you would always rather. That's why I put the meows in because I was like, whenever I'm drawing like too many crows or bells or whatever, I don't feel great about these. Even if the meows gives me like one draw, I'm happy with taking the upstart goblin to try and draw a real card than have a crow.
Yeah, I mean, my conclusion was just I don't like those hand traps at all because
Yeah.
VS plays. I don't remember the number on top of my head, but like if you cut all copies of Extravagance, you play 17 non-engine around there. So like you're not even playing Malice non-engine numbers, and you
Yeah.
want to play lower quality hand traps than Malice.
Yeah. No, this is
So
this is an engine deck now.
and it just makes no sense to do so. So the only like that's also another reason for Charmies is that those non-engine spots were always going to be non-attribute non-engine. Like I was already playing, I think, more attribute non-engine than anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really like the direction in terms of the design of this because it feels like moving away from just drop a hand trap, try stop you from playing, is such a breath of fresh air. Which is kind of where maybe Justice Hunters is going. If you guys have any thoughts on the new set and if you've been messing around with them, that'll be really cool to talk about. I've dabbled in TCG. Would you believe for my first time in like 6 months at this point, I picked up
You
a.
keep saying that. You keep saying that like every 2 months.
No, but I literally have committed. I have the cards now.
Okay.
So
And you've already missed the only regional in the season.
yeah, listen, this is parenting problems, okay? But unfortunately, we didn't get to participate in our regional this weekend. But Yummy took 6 out of 8 Glasgow regional top cut spots. So, you guys have any thoughts on Yummy?
I mean, Yummy feels like a deck that's going to do very well at the start of the format because it's kind of a deck that like a lot of people will not understand how to play against and interact with properly, and it's a deck that requires specific answers. But I think it's like in TCG is probably on par with VSK9 because you don't have to deal with Maxi.
It's good, yeah. I think all three of the Justice Hunters decks are great. I personally vibe the most with Draco Tail. That's my favorite.
Really?
But yeah, dude, it's so grindy. Have you played it?
Yeah, I have. I love it. It's great. But I thought you would just be playing VS K9.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, no, that's also fun. I like them all. I just think I like the idea of Draco Tail because it's so grindy and it feels like the least salt deck, if that makes sense, because it feels like Yummy and Vanquish Soul. Like Vanquish Soul K9 literally has like 2 flex spots. Like that deck is you build it, it's done. The fun part about that deck is playing it. The building part is it's kind of like Ishizu tier in that matter too because Ishizu tier was not a deck building format. Like a lot of Ishizu tier decks were very similar to each other, and even if they were like 2 or 3 cards different, the gameplay was the thing that mattered the most. I think that's Vanquish Soul K9. Like deck building wise, it's not that interesting, but like Draco Tail, I think is very, very unsolved for us. Like the Yummy builds for the most part are pretty straightforward. The Vanquish Soul Canine builds are pretty straightforward. But Draco Tail is interesting to me.
I can see that. To be honest, I haven't dabbled properly yet, but I've started roads testing like a little bit,
Mhm.
and for how much people have hyped up the VS Canine mirror, I have been very disappointed. That mirror just does not feel
What have you been
serious with
disappointed by?
it feels like the old VS mirror. I never played Ishizu Tier, by the way, but the old VS mirror felt like kind of somewhere close to that, where like the engine power is really matched, and if both players play well, you will have multiple turns because you
Mhm.
both run out of interaction and pushes at about the same time, but you can keep playing on each other's turns. The VS Canine mirror feels like it takes that dynamic, but then when your opponent runs out of interruptions, the turn player just goes make a ripper, go +5, kill your opponent. Like it just takes away all of them.
Okay, so
Like
before I feel too much like an unk, I gotta ask, because you said you didn't play Tier Ishizu. When did you start playing?
2018.
Oh,
I was
right.
just broke for a lot of it, and I didn't. And also the competitive scene in Norway is so small
Hmm.
that I would rather, for a deck that's probably going to not live a year, I would at the time rather just play like Flu with Extravagance, not put any money into it, and still win locals.
Okay, I was ready for like a shotgun punch to like say that you started playing 8 months ago or something. That was
Um,
that would have hurt me criminally.
I started playing competitively in my first, I would say the first like competitive event, which is where I started playing properly, was YCS London 2023.
2023. Okay, cool. So like 4 days ago. Awesome.
That was when I started playing competitively. I've been playing the game since 20.
Yeah, fair enough. Um, so Draco Tail is an interesting deck. It sort of encourages heavy monsters, just because of the
Mhm.
way that the fusion works. You want to
Yeah.
fuse a monster in hand. So there's lots of sort of like different ways to kind of approach deck building. Either mass hand traps, just everything. You know, like Nibiru. There's even Shaddolls you can play. Fenrir slowly making a
Yeah.
comeback. You know.
Mhm.
Um,
I love Fenrir. That guy's cool.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
As
hate
long as I
Fenrir,
don't
but I
stare
love
him down.
Fenrir. Fenrir is cool, but I hate
Yeah,
It's
Fenrir.
yeah.
bad for Worlds.
Yeah, which I'm honestly pretty mad about.
Is it banned in OCG?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
banned in OTG. They all
Fenrir's
got
Fury
power.
banned
They
in
all got
OCG.
power for brains. It was too strong for them.
one planet's at one. Like it's just gone.
Oh no.
It doesn't exist. I don't know. To be
Um,
fair, I don't think the Rice Heart, so it makes sense.
yeah, that is probably the most important thing. So
The,
yeah,
the
go on.
hmm? I was gonna say like the heavy hand trap approach for Draco Tail just feels weird because I think that's how it's been played in the OCG for the most part. Which I will say, the deck was very popular when Justice Hunters came out in the OCG, but it's dropped off massively since they've discovered Vanquish Soul Canine. And I feel
Mm.
like the development for the deck has basically stopped in the early stages because they've put so much more effort now into Yummy and Vanquish Soul Canine, and you barely see any Draco Tail lists from them anymore. But I think especially for us, like the hand trap version just doesn't seem that good because hand traps in general are, I feel like, a little bit on the downfall at the moment. Like they're not great into Yummy, they're not great into Vanquish Soul Canine, they're not great into like the canine cards in general. So we're going into a lot more of an like engine heavy direction and maybe some board breakers here and there, which is pretty cool, I think. Because decks like Vanquish Soul Canine are just like that deck doesn't have many like non engine hand traps. Like of course it has Holy Su and Izuna, but like besides that, you maybe play like 3 Ash and like two or three other non-engine slots. That's it. Um, and I think with Draco Tail, you have to find a way to make it work without playing too many hand traps because hand traps are not going to be the way to go in this format. Like I don't think you were beating Vanquish Soul Canine by like effect veiling their Raisin.
I mean, you'd be surprised by the amount of hands that VS Canine loses to a Purge or an Ash, but I do agree, like,
Those two in particular, yeah, but like the ones those are not the ones. I mean, Ash you can play in Draco Tail, but like they will more often they'll play like Veilers and stuff. Because in theory, Veiler is like good in that deck because it's not once per turn, so you'll just like discard it and then make Arthalion, add it back to hand, Veiler again. It's neat. I just don't know if that's the way to go because I do think that a heavy engine Draco Tail hand can go toe to toe with other decks in the format right now. Like that deck prints card advantage when it resolves its fusion spells.
Ketu and Rahu are insane, both going
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
And it feels like a deck where you mix with something else, to be honest, because you don't have
Yeah.
enough cards yet. Like
Mhm.
some like branded Draco Tail fusion pile or something.
Or just in general fusion support. It doesn't have to be like
Yeah,
a specific engine,
yeah,
but like Patchwork or King of the Swamp for Poly. Just more ways to fusion summon. I've seen people play like Cartesia, which is I think pretty interesting because Cartesia lets you fusion summon on both turns. So like it's a starter, but then you leave it on the board to fusion summon on your opponent's turn again to just loop all your once per turn effects on both turns. It's pretty sick.
yeah. And you play like Shadows and stuff, and like
Yeah.
every turn you send like 4 cards and go +3. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see that too.
I think the idea with Cartesia is like there's only one normal summon really in the deck, and that's
Yeah.
Lucas. Obviously Malulu is kind of nice, I think, to like dodge hand traps because it's a quick effect and stuff.
Mhm.
Because like if you get ashed on something like Raku or Ketu, it can feel
Yeah.
like it's kind of like Femina or bust.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
why I think you need more ways to fuse with that deck. Because I think like the more consistently you can resolve a fusion spell in that deck, because I think every game where you resolve a fusion spell in Draco Tail, I think you can definitely play. You're not going to win every time, especially going second when they have nice interruptions and use them well. But especially going first, every time you resolve a fusion spell in that deck, I think you're good.
Yeah,
yeah.
I could see that. It's not the deck I've been testing the most, but like
Mm.
it feels like a deck that's really, really easy to like deal with if it doesn't get to trigger its effect multiple times.
I mean, you get to play Justice Hunters format the entire month, and I have to learn RYZEAL against Malice.
Can't wait to get onto that subject. But yeah, every card just replaces itself when it's fused off, which is probably the only way
Yeah.
you can realistically make fusion summoning viable, or just straight up printing a branded fusion, right? Which is
Every fusion deck is like, how are we cheating the fusion mechanic this time?
yeah, which is basically what Rahu does. But interestingly, what they did was they specifically made it so that the Draco Tail fusions require a monster in the hand. So even though
Yeah.
Rahu is like a branded fusion, you can't actually use it that way fully because of the way the monsters work. So that's kind of cool. Now,
It's very
one,
smart if you think about it. Like
I
it makes
guess.
the fuse from deck thing fair. I feel like it's still
So
good. I mean, I'm not, but-
okay, so one thing that pissed me off about this deck is they made
Mhm.
this really broken card called Sectarion Dragon, and it's good in the it shuts down the
No,
mirror.
no, yeah, no. That card is so cringe. That card makes me mad.
What they made like even if you let's argue you're supposed to make like a powerful boss monster for a new archetype. Why would you
Yeah,
make it
dude.
broken in the mirror?
Yeah, no.
And why would you make it a super poly target?
Yeah, it is a pretty good super poly target, admittedly. It's like
They had
imagine
one.
if
They had a super poly target for that combination as well because it's a retrain of the Mysterion dragon. Like that already existed, but it's. I agree with you. It's so dumb. It's especially dumb because that card is like how they make like one technically independent but clearly targeted at one of the deck building pack archetypes like support card in the main set, like similar to it was for RYZEAL Malice, it was Eclipse Twin, and then like the stupid little format skipper retrain that no one plays.
Hmm.
Uh, for these archetypes, right? They made for I think for Yami, it's a link monster, like
The one that
the
yeah, the one that
the
sets back
cat
support.
thingy is the
It's
Yami
like
one.
but it's a link to Light Beast that sets back a quick spell and links on next
Exactly
turn.
that one. And then um
Canine.
for K9, it's the what was the one for K9? Oh, Valon, of course, Valon, the rank 5 that books, right? Really good card. And then for Draco Tail, they just give him a floodgate for the mirror match.
It
So dumb.
was like imagine if Riseheart prevented your opponent from summoning from the hand or something as well. Like that would be as silly as it would be for like a cash tier mirror or something. It just doesn't make any sense. So I don't know why they made it that way. But yeah, I really like your idea of like playing board breakers and stuff. It's just hard to find like monster style board breakers that would really help this deck. Because like you just go on.
It's too normal summoner line for like Golem or Seer mode, I guess. Because those are
Hmm.
the like really good monster board
Yeah.
breakers.
Hmm.
I guess you would just
Interesting.
I guess you would just play like really high quality engine monsters. Like you would like throw Fenrir in there. You would play like just enough ways to fusion summon. You would basically try to play into boards with engine, not like specifically board breakers, but like yeah, Fenrir would be. Or maybe you play more Cash Tiras. I've seen people play like bigger Shadol packages in it. You could like side Shadol fusion for going second, which I think is interesting.
Because like Shadol Fusion lets you send Malulu,
Yeah.
which then gets you to Rahu or Ketu,
Yeah,
which
but
is
then
like sick for going
you'd have
second.
to be careful not to make Winda, I guess, when you're playing into a board, because then you would be locking yourself.
You just make
So
Al
maybe
Capone,
you
right?
Al Capone is 2 gold, isn't it?
2 different attributes?
Absalon is 2 Shadols, I think,
Yeah,
with
Wait,
two.
is
different
it?
attributes.
Oh,
It's
it is
Winda
2
that-
Shadols.
But the thing is, like, it's not a problem. It just all it takes is 1 extra deck slot, because the Draco Tails have different attributes, so you can play like the Draco the Shadol fusion that needs a water monster or an earth or a fire. Like you could play or a wind. You could play any of those, whichever one is the best, I suppose.
Yeah, so that's Draco Tail. I really like that it's like not fucking like 20-minute turns, man. Like that's the satisfying thing. It's like every activation in the deck feels very deliberate, very meaningful.
Yeah.
Like so even just playing against it is like kind of fun because like it's like 6 or 7 activations and then your turn's kind of done, right? You just put up 2 fusions and you pass with like hand traps. You compare that to Yummy, which I'm slowly starting to develop a small, disdain for. It really just kind of feels like another reskinned combo deck of the format.
It is.
Isn't Yummy just like new Sprite, just with better follow-up?
Sprite?
They all have like the condition to summon themselves from hand, and they center on a specific level and stuff.
They
Mm.
have
I know
similarities
they don't
for
have like
sure.
summon trigger. They have like Snatchy to be the combo starter instead of like Blue Jet searching, but like
No,
it's
it's
like the kind
definitely
of thing.
similar. It's different in the way that like they don't all like with Sprite, they didn't all start alone, right? With Yummy, they all do. So the way I've talked about Yummy recently is like it is a very classic like recent 1-card combo deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Where like it's gonna have like a bunch of 1-card starters. You draw one of those, your opponent tries to interact with it. You try to have extenders, and then you just do your standard 1-card combo or 2-card combo depending on what kind of spreadsheet hand you've drawn, right? So it is very much that, but it does so the way I've described it is like it feels like we have been going into a certain direction with these 1-card combo decks, which I think is good. Like for example, I've said this about Malice. Like Malice, I wasn't happy with yet, but it was better than Snake Eyes in my opinion for the health of the game. And I think
It's
Yummy is like a little bit more in that direction. It's like Malice, but like more fair. It's not quite there yet, or like I don't quite find it like perfect yet, but I think it's like arguably not as broken as Malice. Like the Yummy end board is not that crazy compared to what decks used to do last year.
yeah.
So I think it's fine.
Yeah, I would say Yummy is way more healthy than Malice,
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
is.
Whether Malice or Snake Eye is the worst deck, we will not open that can of worms because I think the two of us can argue about that for an hour. Snake Eye enjoyer, by the way, but
Wait, those exist?
this is my phone base.
Is
Yes, we exist. There's like 2 of us. I just want to reply I'm first top, but
isn't there like a Poplar plushie?
is there?
I
People
think there's
keep
like
telling me that and I've never seen it.
I feel like there's that's an official product, but
I think
Ready?
you're
No,
thinking about the
that
Tsuchinoko
could
neck
be,
pillow.
yeah.
There's like a Tsuchinoko neck pillow because like pink sneaking you, but it's not the same.
that sounds crazy. A neck pillow for Tsuchinoko.
It's been around for a long time. I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of people with
Yeah, big fan of Draco Tail, but I absolutely despise Herald when playing against Yummy, but that's just like a Draco Tail thing. It's actually not the negate that I like see problematic. It's
Oh yeah, I guess against Draco Tail they just keep it around. You just like you use a fusion spell and they say okay, and all your stuff.
yeah,
disappears.
right? Like banish. Like I actually don't care about the negate with Herald. Like whatever, one negate is
Yeah.
fine. It's like it's macrocosmos from deck, so I'm just sitting there with like Rahu, like yes.
It's not
This
just
will
deck, it's also hand.
say that again.
It's not just deck, it's also hand. It's everywhere,
Yeah.
not board.
Oh my
So-
god, yeah, it's hand. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's why it used to be so broken against Droplet, because you couldn't send a monster, and then they could Baron negate your Droplet or Herald negate your Droplet.
Yeah, I'm a
Send
Yummy
monsters on
hater.
board.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, but it was like during what was it? During like DPE
DPE
scythe
scythe.
format,
Yeah,
they would
DPE.
scythe lock you before your main phase, so you wouldn't have a monster on board, and you couldn't droplet a monster from hand to make the droplet unnegatable.
Right, we don't need to talk about nightmares right now. Come on, guys. Like, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
let's Don't go back to 2022.
Yeah, like
Uh,
what the hell? Um, so yeah, VS K9. I guess you're just not a fan of that. Worlds format. I guess you could tell us a little bit about it since you're probably more. I guess you said you haven't started your testing too much just yet, but what is it kind of looking like it's going to be?
I mean, apart from like, it's kind of just like TCG format, to be honest. There's not that much that's different because like basically
Okay.
Paradise Matter's banned. That's the biggest difference, which is just
Okay. What about those like the blue monsters like
which one? Yeah,
Mitsurugi?
Mitsurugi. I mean, yes, but like I don't try to think about that too much. I don't like Mitsurugi. I mean, I know you like
Okay.
Pure, but
Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
yes, but like like the Josh decks, it's kind of the same as they will be in the TCG. Like
Yeah.
if you get my
Yes.
point.
Yes.
There isn't like a bunch like Herald isn't banned in the OCG,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Or
Wait,
there isn't like a
so
bunch of weird combinations over there yet.
is Mitsu legal or not for Worlds? It's not, right?
It's
No,
not legal.
it's
No.
not legal.
Okay.
It's just
Interesting.
Which is interesting because they do get it in August, I think, or September. I don't know exactly, but they get it soon. But like it, I think it said everything has to be out by August 1st, which was specifically Justice Hunter's release date. So everything that releases now is not legal anymore.
like obviously between like Worlds format and TCG format, the Mitsu misting is the biggest difference. But like for the Justice Hunters decks, it's basically just Paradise is bound. That's the only real
Yeah.
difference that I can remember on top of my head. So the decks are pretty similar, apart from like you're building them for like a Worlds environment, which is a Worlds is the environment's so weird because it's like basically just a 7-round regional and then top cut. It's not like a YCS, and like you can kind of predict what like some of the competitors are going to play based on what they played to qual, at least for like a lot of the OCG players, because they're basically playing the same format again.
Mm.
Like as I said, I haven't started like deep dive testing yet. I just found that VS Canine mirrors to me were less enjoyable than pure VS mirrors because the canine cards didn't, apart from like Izuna as a hand trap, which you can kind of manage with Ripper, they didn't really add anything interesting. They just added sealing and like combo power, which
Yeah.
that mirror didn't need.
Yeah, no, I feel that way about the K9 cards in general. Is like they are the type of cards that at the moment at least you only see them as like splashes, as like an engine in another deck, which is basically just there to put that deck's end board like over the top for the most part. Like whatever a normal Vanquish Soul end board was, whether you thought it was breakable or not, like if they add a Ripper and the quick play spell to it, it's no longer breakable. And it's also no longer hand trappable, really. And then the same thing happens when you look at like, I don't know, K9 Crystron. Like you look at any regular Crystron end board, which was already pretty good. Like Crystron's already was a solid deck for a decent amount of time. And they make like they make like their two Omnis, their spell negation with Dragster, their quick synchro stuff, the trap card. If you add the K9 cards on top of that, all of a sudden it's over the top. It's kind of like how RYZEAL as a pure deck was always fine to me, but the hybrid versions always did too much. Like you look at Onomat RYZEAL, Fiendsmith RYZEAL, Mitsurugi RYZEAL, the end boards become too much.
You didn't like Rise of Fiendsmith?
Well, I liked the playstyle of it, but I do think that it made like the end board, if it fully resolved, it was too powerful.
I mean, not that it's a relevant format, but like for Birmingham, my main plan was just draw Slayer outs the whole board. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that deck, that deck felt like the one fair Ryzeal hybrid variant. I very much agree for Onomat and Mitsu. Like you're not breaking those
Yeah.
boards if you don't have like 10 cards.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Fiendsmith RYZEAL is the closest to a fair version of it, but I still think it was like less fair than pure RYZEAL at the time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Speaking of RYZEAL, it's Happy Detonator Day. Today was the release of the new selection pack in Macedo. We are finally saved from Malice format. It's over. That's it. The reign of terror is gone. No more Malice. Malice is dead. Detonator's going to blow the ball up. Alice in Wonderland's getting destroyed. So how's your day one experience been?
I played against more Malice than RYZEAL today.
How? It's because they all spent their. They're
They
saving
don't
up.
play Lancia anymore. They don't play Lancia anymore, so the Malice Andes get to live free.
Wow.
It's also probably easier to out Detonator than to like deal with Malice, right?
Could be.
No, my experience was fine. I mean, I knew what to expect pretty much. I've been playing RYZEAL for a long time in TCG, so that part was not like new to me. They released it with Star RYZEAL, but without Eclipse Twins, which I think is On the one hand, good because no Eclipse Twin makes it fairer. On the other hand, I think Star RYZEAL being there, I really like. Here's the thing: I never played pure RYZEAL with Star because when pure RYZEAL was the thing in the TCG, like we didn't have Star yet. Which at the time I kept defending RYZEAL as like a fine deck because one of the cool things about it was it had an actual choke point with like duo drive, which I realized today that if they have Star RYZEAL, it completely removes that choke point. It does not exist anymore because if they start with X or Ice, you have to stop those. Otherwise, they will have a cross before they go duo drive. So you can't Ash the duo drive, you can't Ogre the duo drive or whatever. And if you have an Imperm, I guess that can't be negated by cross, but they still get to like cross anyways. So
Yeah, I despise that.
it's weird. Still, the end board for pure RYZEAL, like all my matches against, every time I went second, basically, I looked at my hand and I was like, gosh, I hope this is a mirror match. I hope this is not Malice. Every single time. And every time it was a mirror match, we had an actual game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And then when it wasn't, it was Malice and it wasn't great.
Well,
Yeah.
one thing I'll say is that from looking at some of the gameplay, pure RYZEAL feels a bit weird because there's so many hits to the deck compared to TCG.
Mhm.
There's like one Desires, Prosperity's banned, Bonfires at one. So you kind of have to play like these Tachyon cards
Yeah.
if you want to play
Yeah, you do.
pure.
Yes.
I don't know. It seems like maybe that's fine, I suppose, but I guess it's also cool because Fiendsmith is pretty much full power. You can play Fiend RYZEAL, which I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing.
I mean, that deck is just worse. Like, already with 3 Ice, 3 Bonfire, which was the only bridge starters, that deck was like. It was already iffy if the bridge was consistent enough. I would say
Mhm.
with 1 Bonfire, I would not even consider it. Like, and I played, like, that was the deck I told Birmingham with, by the way, was Fiend RYZEAL. And I would not consider playing that deck with 1 Bonfire. Like, I just don't think the bridge is consistent enough.
I think
You could just treat it as like a bonus because like you can just draw the Fiendsmith cards. It's like not that big of a deal if you just don't access them at all, I suppose. Even though they do come with some bricks and some extra deck slots that you lose. That if every game you don't access them, they're basically wasted. I'd be more concerned about like the deck being weaker into stuff like Maxi and Fuva, which RYZEAL is like they're already like they're good into RYZEAL, but like you can always go like okay 1 or 2 draws into Detonator Pass, which is like fine.
To be
Um,
fair, Ice does that too. Like, yeah, starting with Ice is a little worse,
yeah.
but apart from in the hands where you draw X Ice or where you draw Bonfire, you would have started with Ice anyways, right?
Yeah. No,
So,
but it's like the hands where you start with a Fiendsmith card because you actually draw it, right? And
oh,
then
yeah,
they
like
get
that, yeah.
Fuba, and then you're like, oh well.
Yeah, that does suck.
Yeah.
I've been working on. I haven't properly played some games yet, but I pretty much tried to take like Shunping's list. I think, which was like heavier on the Fiendsmith. It's like playing like triple tracked,
Yeah.
double Lacrima,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of facilitate more engine.
As control with RYZEALs, if I recall.
Say that again.
It was more like Fiendsmith control with some
Yeah.
RYZEAL cards for power, if I
Yeah.
recall.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
it
It was
wasn't
that.
playing cross and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, I suppose good in the way because like the Fiendsmith engine is still pretty strong. It would
Mm-hmm.
just be interesting to see like how it fares in a best of one environment with both decks kind of at full power and Malice being even stronger because of Apo. So that might be a
Oh,
bit
dude,
weird with
Malice is
Fiendsmith.
at a power level that is so nuts in it's hard for me to comprehend. They have everything at 3 plus March Hare plus Appaloosa plus ratio. It's like it's not fun.
Encoder too.
Yeah, Link Decoder as well is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically today, every time I've gone second against Malice and won, it's because they beat themselves. Every single time.
Isn't that every win going second against Malice apart from Lancia or Holisu?
Usually, yeah. No, yeah.
Day one RYZEAL players have been miserable on the Farfa stream. Just saying, it's been an experience.
No, overall, I had a good time. I will say that. I was climbing today. It was fine. Like, I was doing okay with RYZEAL, but I think it's just like everyone was expecting this deck to be like this Hail Mary solution to this format. Like, free us from Malice. Now RYZEAL is tier 0. It's not that. It was never that. Pure RYZEAL was never as unfair as people told you it was.
Oh no, for sure not.
So what do we do
It's
about
just a
Malice?
solid deck. That's it. That's all it is.
Do we play RYZEAL with Lancia? Is that what we have to do?
We might have to do that. You might, you know, okay, you know what? Here's the thing that's probably the most reasonable is if you play 7th Ascension and Tachyon anyways, you probably play one Lancea just in case when you like go first and you notice your opponent is playing Malice because they like impulse you or something, you can like 7th Tachyon for Lancea. That's probably what you're gonna do. And when you go second and you draw the Lancea, you either hope it's Malice or you hope to hit like a called by with. Like it has like real implications in Master Duel where like the one of Lancea is not gonna be that bad. I don't know if you're gonna still main deck 3 Lanceas. Honestly, I could see it because I think the fact that I played against more Malice today than RYZEAL is crazy. Like that deck was supposed to have like all the hype for when it's released and everything, and people were just like, nope, I'm just gonna queue the Malice deck. And if it keeps being like that, then yeah, Lancea is gonna go back into the main decks. I think that's gonna happen. I mean, I got Lancea today too. Like the second half of the stream, people started going back to Lancea.
They realized.
Master Duel, but isn't RYZEAL insanely expensive for a day one deck and like just for ranked? Like,
They're
what
both
would be
basically
RYZEAL
that
price
though.
per
I guess it's like they are both very heavy on ultras and they came out back to back, so a lot of people I guess went broke on Malice, and then couldn't craft RYZEAL on the first day. That is
There's
probably
Yeah,
the
I'd
real
also
thing.
rather be more RYZEAL players over time, not like all at once, because it's like, especially when there's not like that big tournament like coming up recently, so there's no reason to have the cards apart from ranked. Like, I don't know how competitive players are about ranked. I don't play a lot of ranked. Like, I think my current rank is like either Diamond 5 or Plat 1.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I think the deal with Rise, it's really funny. I'm pretty sure they would like regret releasing them in this order because I think if they started with Ryzeo and then Malice after, people would feel inclined to buy the gems because Malice is just probably better than current Ryzeo and Master Duel. Whereas,
At this power level, they would have better done it the other way around. Yeah.
so like if you're playing Malice and you see these Ryzeo cards and like they're just not as good. And RYZEAL being like it's literally all ultras except from Star, the one of. So I mean that's just the strat they have to do with Master Duel now because people
Yeah.
I guess have gamed the system. They know how events work. They save up the gems for the next relevant deck. So you just have to make everything ultra realistically, if they want to make money. So on top of that, like one of the reasons why I don't like the Tachyon cards is they're all ultras, and there's really never been a reason to play them before today, unless
I don't know why I had them. I think
you
they
built
were in some
Tachyon.
pack.
You just
Huh?
you played Galaxy, didn't you? Like or Tachyon.
Yeah, when that pack came out, I think I just kept them. Yeah, I think a lot of people probably got rid of them, like not knowing they were gonna need them for RYZEAL eventually, or just like wanted something else, or didn't open that pack to begin with. I don't know if it released, like if it was worth opening at the time, but yeah.
I do think I have pulled that card at some point, but I think it's a while ago. Isn't it like a year ago or something?
It's
A
not a
while.
year. It was the Galaxy Eyes. Like they released like the Galaxy Tachyon support in one pack. I don't remember what it came with, but I remember opening it and just keeping the cards because I
I mean,
knew I was gonna need them eventually.
it wasn't the regional qualities, and it wasn't the DC Cup in March, so it must have been in like December, because I basically only play for like Worlds Quals events, and
It
so
could
if
be
I
around that
remember
time.
correctly, it must have been
Yeah,
like back then, if not the event before.
it's probably 8-9 months ago. Yeah, it could be.
Did you play the Master Duel WCQ? I guess you did, but what did you play and how was it?
I did, but it was right after Nats, and I had to like go to locals to give cards back, so I didn't really get a real chance. But I played Crystron because that was the deck I
Base.
found that played the best into Fua and Max C and still made like real boards and had real engine.
Based.
I think it's crazy
Yeah,
how good Crystron was. And like nothing's changed with the deck. And suddenly it's fallen off a cliff.
Lancia, that's why.
It's funny how you say nothing has changed and everyone's playing Lancea in their main deck against the deck that just vanishes.
Well,
Dude, let me tell you, something has changed. Lancia is like, if not as bad as it is for Malice, if not, does Malice have Ignister cards in Master Duel? I don't
No,
remember.
no, no.
Oh,
no.
okay, so it's probably like a little, like Christian can do a little bit more though.
Yeah,
With the
it's
TCG, it's
slightly
Lancia is
better.
better against Christian than it is against Malice, like actually.
Yeah, so like it's not that nothing has changed, it's just that for like the actual Crystron cards, like it's not like they got hit, there wasn't like a nerf.
Yeah.
No ban list or anything. It's just there's a new deck, and somehow the side deck card that hits Malice is now catching Christian in the crossfire, very unfortunately. So,
It's like Ritual Beast, man. I had a friend of mine sit next to me when I was building my deck for Euros on the Friday, and they always play Ritual Beast, and they looked at my deck while I was submitting my deck list, and they were like, "Damn, you can cite your entire side deck against me. That's not good." It's like, okay.
I think
My
it's always one of the worst things. It's like, yeah, no, this deck that I play, that's my fun pet deck. Just there's like 3 Chaos Hunter, 3 Lancia, like Meowls, like
Yeah.
Ritual Beast
It's
is
just
fun.
an unfortunate thing where sometimes you have to pick your deck around like the non-engine that people play at the moment.
Correct me if I'm wrong, comments, but I think Ritual Beast is the only Yu-Gi-Oh deck that loses to every Charmy. Like every single one of them is good against Ritual Beast, which is that's
Malice?
impressive. Hmm?
Malice has the same problem. All 3 Charmies are good against Malice.
I mean,
Yes, but
you
there's
can.
a difference between the Charmies being good against them and the Charmies being insane against them, and they're all 3 insane against Ritual Beast because the deck tries to normal summon like 7 times, special from
Yeah.
banished 8 times, and special from extra deck like 12 times. It's like, okay, well,
You guys are trying to loop Ulti Hawk for 10 minutes just to protest me for dark. Like,
Yeah. Ritual Beast life is rough. But yeah, Masudu, I guess, is in a weird spot. We'll have to see like kind of where things land. It'll be interesting to see like how Malice is dealt with, if it is dealt with at all, if people just play like you know, they just go back to Malice and you just play Malice. It'll be interesting to see what the best variant of RYZEAL will be, and if it's actually good enough to contest it. I'm sure you're going to be testing this a lot, especially with World Championship coming up. So
I mean, for Worlds, it's a little different actually, because I think for Worlds, it's like
format.
it's pretty clear that every team is probably going to have a Malice player and a RYZEAL player, because like you can't have multiple RYZEAL Malice decks. Even if you can't come to the conclusion that Malice is still by far the best deck, you're still going to play a RYZEAL deck probably, because if Malice is the best, RYZEAL is probably very likely still the second best. So I think what's most likely just going to happen for Worlds is one player is going to have Malice, one player is going to have RYZEAL, and then it mostly comes down to what third decks basically the people reach the conclusion to bring, and then also how the secondary decks are going to function. Because like, what are you going to do? Are you going to build like counter decks for Malice and RYZEAL because you know everyone is going to have them, but like, that's going to be weird as soon as people know about it. And but yeah, I think that's what it mostly comes down to this year.
I think if you find a deck that beats RYZEAL and Malice, you might have just found the best deck, realistically. That's it.
Okay, cool.
As a TCG player, there isn't one.
These decks would not be we would not be where we are right now if there was a deck that just did that.
Right, but that's the conundrum, right? That's what you kind of need to try and find for your third player is someone who can try and take games off Malice RYZEAL, right?
Oh, take games and beat are like different things. Like a hard counter and something that can win games against something, like very different
I
things.
think realistically, you're gonna try to find a deck that is good going first in general, and then going second has a chance against RYZEAL at least, because that's the more realistic thing. Like you can beat RYZEAL going second consistently without super targeted hate, but you can't do that with Malice. I think at Worlds going second against Malice, it's just gonna be hand trap mini games. Like at that level, with that level of Malice players, like most games I win going second against Malice on ladder is because they mess up or they time out. If that doesn't happen at Worlds, which I don't expect it to, then like you're the only chance to win going second against Malice is to throw hand traps at them and hope they can't play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Is Fire King back?
No.
You don't have faith in Vinkabu's call?
Dude, we got one extravagance. Can't do it.
One extra roll you need. I proved it at Euros. You don't need more.
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah,
problem
true.
is that your deck doesn't have like an Ulcanix or bust situation, really, right?
I'm very aware that deck needs more consistency.
Yeah, it's I don't know how he did it. Like I was watching, I was commentating his game specifically, and he just drew Ulcanix every game. Like I see why he won. Like it just makes sense.
I mean, But the thing is, like, even that doesn't explain how you beat Malice going second, and that's the thing that you just can't do in best of one with Fire Kings, for example. You just cannot beat Malice consistently. Even going first, I don't know how you do it.
So there's a new accessory in the shop now where you can buy like a new coin. This is the first time this has happened.
Yeah.
You can buy this new skin for your coin in Macedon, and it's a Pot of Greed one. Now, from what
Mm-hmm.
I understand, according to at least my Twitch chat, if you buy that coin, it actually gives you a higher chance of winning the coin flip because it's custom into the code.
I think it doesn't matter. I didn't get it because the back looks the same, and that's all I see all the time anyway.
Just out of curiosity, what was your die roll record at Euros, Josh?
Mine? I know in Swiss I went 5-7. And then in top 64 I won. No, I went 7-7 overall. What was
7-7?
yours?
Oh god. I think it was like, it wasn't that horrible on paper. I think it was like 6-11, 6 wins. But 2 of the wins were game 1 bricks, so
Yeah. Yeah. That was the nice thing about Vanquish Soul, I felt like. It was the deck that cared about it the least.
yeah, like you can for sure win games coming second with that
Yeah.
deck. Absolutely.
All right. Do you have any final topics or any kind of discussion points you want to maybe go over before we wrap up? Keeping this one a little bit shorter just because we're a little bit pressed for time and stuff on our personal sides here.
It's late. I'm tired. No,
Yeah.
I think it's less something to add, but just in general, like TLDR, I'm really excited for Justice Hunters format. I think the archetype design in Justice Hunters is really cool. I'm really happy about the direction they've been going. Not just in Justice Hunters, but like 2025 in general. You know, I've been relatively negative, is putting it lightly, about like 2024 archetypes, and I'm very happy that 2025 is going into a direction that I actually enjoy, and I'm really excited for it. And the fact that I'm a little bummed about playing RYZEAL Malice format right now still should not overshadow the fact that, you know, I'm very happy to be part of Worlds this year, because especially because I didn't qualify, I'm being invited. So I'm still going to focus this month. I'm going to focus on Malice and RYZEAL, and then eventually I'll be very happy to check out more Justice Hunters myself. And then also, when we're going to get these decks in Master Duel eventually as well, so I'm already looking forward to that as well. But overall, I'm feeling good right now. I think it's a good time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to be fair, it might also just be that we're starved after Ubel 10 pie format, but
True.
the quality of decks has improved significantly since 2024. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. This is us signing out here. Thanks everyone for tuning into this episode. Do you have a Twitter or anything you use or want to plug, if at all, or?
I mean, I have a YouTube channel with 1 video, Blue IGO, but don't expect me to upload very often unless I like win worlds or something.
All right, World's first place deck list coming on Blue YG on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.